Hello and welcome, I'm Ashysource, aka Ashy, and today I'm going to be talking about the Xbox Game Showcase and the Outer Worlds 2 Direct. I'll be talking about this really quickly and then getting more into the Outer Worlds 2 Direct, as that's what I'm really interested in, and some few games that were at the Direct that really interest me. I'll be getting into detail into those. But that's it, so let's jump into it. If this is the type of content you would like to see, new showcases and all things gaming, then you're in the right place, so like and subscribe to see more. Let's jump into it. So first, they showed off the Outer Worlds, and that'll be coming out on October 29th. They also showed off High on Life 2. That'll be coming day 1 on Game Pass. Next, they showed off Plague Tale Legacy Resonance. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. It will be coming out 2026, day 1 on Game Pass. They also showed off their new handheld with ROG, an ROG Xbox Ally X with AMD. You could play Game Pass, Ubisoft games, and Steam, and all that stuff on there. So this is definitely going into the whole Xbox is now just basically everywhere, so this looked really cool. I don't know how it's gonna play. A lot of handhelds are iffy, so sometimes they're good and sometimes they're not, so I gotta see how this works out. But I was interested because they shelved off their actual Xbox handheld. Instead they made this one, so this will be interesting. Next, they showed off The Blood of Dawnwalker coming out in 2026. It looks very shaky to me. Hopefully when they show off more stuff, it won't look so iffy, I guess. Next is Super Meat Boy 3D. It looks like 3D World to me, and other people with me said the same thing. It's interesting to see because usually when I remember Super Meat Boy, it wasn't so bright. So it's interesting to see this coming out soon, and that'll be coming out early 2026, day 1 on Game Pass. We got another look at Ninja Gaiden 4 coming to Game Pass on October 21st, 2025. It'll be day 1, so you guys can play that. It's also worked on by Platinum, so I know people who I know are gonna definitely be playing this because it's Platinum. Next, we got a DLC for Indiana Jones called The Order of the Giants. It'll be coming out on September 4th on all platforms. Feast of Reincarnation is coming out in 2026, and it's made by Game Freak, which was the most shock of this entire thing, because I was not expecting that. It'll be coming on most platforms. I don't think it said Switch 2, but it said most platforms, so that's interesting. Now, a game that I'm actually really interested in, Clockwork Revolution, and that'll be coming in due time. They have no announcement, but it looks really interesting. Kind of reminds me of Fallout and some other first-person shooter games, and I am so interested in it. I think the humor was a bit good for me. It wasn't too like overly inappropriate or anything like that, so I actually enjoyed this, and I just love steampunk looking stuff, so I'm very interested in it. Now we gotta look at Grounded 2 coming in July 29th. We also got Chronos, the New Dawn, coming in fall 2025. We also got something new for Elder Scrolls Online, Seasons of the Worm Cult. I'm not really into online games, but I heard that they've been updating Elder Scrolls pretty well, so. Next, we have Aphelion from Don't Nod coming in 2026. It looks interesting. It's like a wintry space game. It looks interesting to me. I'll probably watch someone play it before I give myself an actual chance to play it. Next, we have Ghosts at the Grand coming in 2026. This game looks extremely interesting to me because at first I thought it was just another, like, you know, cleaning simulator kind of thing, you know, power cleaning, stuff like that. I thought it was one of those games, and then it turns out you're like getting rid of ghosts or something and like hunting them, and it just changes completely because it just seemed like a little silly game, and then it turns into a ghost hunting game, which is really interesting. So I am excited to see that game. I don't know if it's coming day 1 to Game Pass, but it looks so good. If it is day 1 with Game Pass, I'm definitely going to try that out. Then there's Age of Mythology Retold at Heavenly Spear. That will be coming out fall 2025. Next, we got Modang Two Hearts. I think I'm pronouncing that right. It will be coming out 2026. It looks interesting. I don't know if this was announced somewhere else, but I've never seen this before, but it's coming on a bunch of platforms, and it looks very interesting. I have never seen anything like this before, but I'm interested to see how this works out. Then we have Planet of Lena 2, Children of the Leaf, coming in 2026. I've heard of the first game, heard it was pretty good, so I'm interested to see how the sequel comes out. Fallout 76 has Gone Fishing, which is out now. I think that you can now go fishing in the game, which is interesting because they did give that to Skyrim after an update. They added fishing or something like that, so they guess they're doing that for this one too. I don't play Fallout 76, but to those who do, now you guys can go fishing. Solo Leveling Arise Overdrive, a 4-player co-op game, is coming out in 2026. Animo is coming 2026. It looks like a game where you transform into like Pokemon-looking animal things and you like collect them. It looks a little weird to me. It kind of reminds me of PowerUp, even like the way they showed the cover. It looked like something like they were trying to do the Breath of the Wild thing / PowerUp thing, or Fortnite where they're standing over a cliff and looking at the world. It kind of reminded me of that, so I'm not very interested in that. Next, they show off Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4 launch trailer. The demo is out. They also added in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Doom Guy, and I think they added somebody else. I can't figure out who it was, but they added a bunch of characters in here, so that's interesting to those who play the Pro Skater games. At Fate's End will be coming from the developers of Spiritfarer. I think that's how it's pronounced. It will be coming out in 2026. Then they showed off Gears of War Reloaded coming out on August 26th. I will be playing this hopefully in the future. I will try to get somebody I know to play it with me because I do love Gears of War. Next off, they showed Persona 4 Revival. Only announced they said all of these platforms and stuff like that. I don't think it said Switch 2, but they had a bunch of platforms on there, but there is no release date. And then they had like an update on there talking about how they're preparing for the next thing for the Persona series, and they also said some other stuff talking about how they want to make sure this is good for the fans. I do wonder if they don't want to show too much off of this because it's not completely finished and it's going to be coming out next year, but I also wonder if it's because some of the voice actors came out and said that they will not be replaying these characters, and I wonder if that has something to do with it. I will say that I'm disappointed if it's true that they don't have the voice actors from it, because a lot of them are still working and stuff like that, and it's just disappointing to see when voice actors get shafted because they want someone who is either new talent or cheaper. I hope that can change. Maybe we can get one where it has the original voice actors and new voice actors. I know that's going to be a bit more expensive, so I would prefer just to get the older voice actors back. Next was Sea of Thieves, Smugglers, and Tide. That will be coming out in August 2025. They also announced Invincible Versus. That will be coming out in 2026. Final Fantasy Remake Intergrade will be coming this winter to Xbox, and Final Fantasy 16 was released today. I think the complete edition is $69, and the normal edition, which is just the base game, will be only $49. Keeper from Double Fine will be coming out on October 17th on Xbox platforms and I think Steam. And one of the final things that they did announce was Call of Duty Black Ops. They showed it off. I thought it was going to be a Remedy game, but it turns out it wasn't, so that was a bit weird. Personally, to me, the showcase was very interesting than a lot of the other stuff that was shown off at the other things like Summer Game Fest and the PlayStation event. That's why I didn't care to do it. To me personally, like, there were some games that were interesting, like they had like Capcom, they announced Resident Evil 9 and stuff like that. That was really interesting, but to me it was just really long, whereas this one was pretty short and they just showed off everything so quickly. So now I can jump into the Outer Worlds 2 Direct. Now for the Outer Worlds 2 Direct, I will talk about a few things that we're talking about. I'm not going to go into super detail. I might make a video talking about all the things that you need to know about this game, but for now I'm just going to talk about the things that really excited me and some of the best things that they announced for this. Now one of the things I wanted to mention that I was not excited about is that they announced how much the game will cost, and I think there was like things talking about it the other day. I didn't see it because I wasn't looking online, but apparently the Outer Worlds 2 is going to be $80 and the premium edition is going to be $100, and if you like pre-order it or something like that, the premium edition, you get early access or something like that. I'm gonna be honest with you, that's garbage. I don't care for it. I'm not gonna pre-order it. I knew the moment Mario Kart announced that it was gonna be $80, everyone was gonna jump on that, and I'm like, that is too much for a video game. I don't care. $80 is a lot of money. This is insane. No video game is worth $80. I don't care what anyone says. You could say Indiana Jones is worth it. You could say any game is worth it, and I don't believe you. You just like something, and that's why you wanted to buy it. Just be honest with yourself. You're willing to spend that much, but it's not worth it in actuality. And like this, no matter how much I love the Outer Worlds, and I do love the Outer Worlds, and the devs deserve every dollar that they make for these games, I still do not believe it's worth $80. Not a dime more. Like, there is no way that you're selling this game on Game Pass. And Game Pass, you can get it for like, what, a month? For like, what, around $20? And you can get this game for a month. Play through almost the entirety of the game, which I did. I beat the first game in like 2 weeks when I had a free trial for Game Pass, and I beat that game in like 2 weeks or something like that. And this game is going to be charging you $80 for the full price when the other one was $60. No thanks, I don't believe it. I'm sorry. No matter how big, no matter how great this game is. I'm sorry, $60 or nothing, and especially now that you're adding a premium edition for $100. Like I said, with Sega and all their other business practices with DLC and stuff like that, there is no way you're gonna get me to buy a premium edition that's over $100 and it's only digital content, and then I have to spend $200 for a collector's edition. No way, I'm not doing that. So that's why I'm just gonna mention that there. I love Obsidian, I love the Outer Worlds, but there's no way you're charging $80 for a game that you could practically play for free on Game Pass for playing $20 for over what they said 1,000 games on there. I'm getting 1,000 games for $20 when your game is $80. That's crazy. That doesn't make any sense. Some of Xbox's business practices is just crazy. But enough of that. They also announced a art book that's, I think it was like $54. I'll put it on the screen for exactly, but I think it was like $54.99 or something like that. But to go on to the other stuff that's actually in the game and not the other stuff that's outside of it. So they announced some of the stuff for the background. I haven't been keeping up on this game, but for now, this is the stuff that they mentioned for the background. You are an Earth Director. They said that basically you go around and like fixing stuff, but in the game you get to choose reasoning why you became a Earth Director, and you can choose backgrounds like ex-convict, gambler, lawbringer, professor, renegade, or rustabout. I can't not pronounce that word for the life of me. You can also choose traits like you did in the first game, where you can get like brilliant, heroic, and the dumb trait is back obviously, and you could get stuff like that. And then you can also get flaws and stuff like that, which is some of my favorite things in this game is flaws. Sometimes I don't use them because they are a bit bad in the first game, but these are kind of hilarious how good they brought them back. Like kleptomaniac, you can steal things and sell for more, but you may automatically steal stuff and get in trouble for it. Whereas you also get sun gazer, which makes you have cataracts and basically everything looks fuzzy and almost unplayable in the game. And then one of my absolute favorites, because I joke about this because I know people who have like bad knees, they talk about how bad knees makes you sound like your knees may crack. They added that into the game that you could have bad knees, and when you're crouching and you get up, it makes a popping noise and it ruins your stealth. That is the most hilarious flaw. You can get faster speed while walking and stuff like that, but if you're not walking and you're trying to stealth, you're gonna have popping knees, and I think it's so funny. They also have over prepared, where if you use up your magazine, you will get a debuff, but your boost is that you get more magazine space and stuff like that, so you have larger magazines for that, and I think that's really great. They updated the skills. They actually shrunk the list, which is fine because it was a bit overwhelming in the first game, but they shrunk it down a bit. I think that having less skills is a bit better, but the skill is actually decently long still, and they actually made it that you get better boosts in this game than you did in the first game, which they were really strange in the first game, to be honest. It's not that it was terrible, but it was very strange. Now, I was talking about the flaws, but they also did add the perks, and I did mention some of the perks before, but I forgot to mention the one for Assassin. That gives you a speed boost after every stealth kill, and there's also Serial Killer, where every time you collect a heart, get a health boost over time. That's how they seem like they described it, which is interesting, but it's crazy that it's called Serial Killer. And then there's Heavy Handed, which I am a melee player most of the time in these games because it's just fun. You can knock down people in the game by hitting them with your heavy, and I think that is amazing. That is one of the best things that you can add in this game because I do like to play as melee, and one of the things about Starfield that they really failed at was having melee. Like almost all of the weapons were the same thing, whereas this game it looks basically like the original game where they have different kind of weapons for melee and for guns. They do obviously focus more on that, so that's interesting. They also added that they have first person and third person, so if you want to see your character and you get kind of woozy seeing first person all the time, well, there you go. They added it into the game, and I'm super happy about that because I know I've heard people saying that they couldn't play the game because of that. They did show off that you get multiple choices in this game, especially with missions and things like that, so you can go in gun blazing, stealth, using a shield, or sacrificing a companion in a early game choice to just show that you have a choice in this game. Whatever way that you do the mission, it is all you, and you can do that. Now, they also added some factions. They have obviously the anti-choice kind of thing that's going on with the whole like capitalism part, and then they have new things like the Protectorate. I think that's how it's pronounced. They have it that they are a dictatorship and that they're over a place like Arcadia, and they have the Order of the Descendant. I think that's how it's pronounced. I'll put it on the screen if I pronounced it wrong. They also added in some companions companions. They have Niles, I think that's how it's pronounced. And Niles, he's a part of the Earth Directors. I think he has a helper bot named Val Marlsol, if I'm pronouncing that right. She's like an assassin. Isa, a cultist, Inez, and Tristan. Tristan is like a judge, jury, and executioner. Which is hilarious because all I think about is the Punisher. They're all new companions for them, and they all have their own stories and things like that. They also added a radio like New Vegas, where the world will react to what you do, and they'll actually talk about it on the radio for different stations, because they have different stations for 3 different places. So that is very interesting to me, because I love the radio in New Vegas. I love it. That's the actual reason why I like old-timey music, is because of that. So that is actually awesome that they added in one. I've been begging for them to add one of those in there, and I love all of the stuff that they added so far, and they just added some small things here and there that I just really wanted to talk about for the Outer Worlds. They have a lot of other stuff. They were talking about gameplay, like how they have different guns, use bombs that freezes people and things like that. You can use guns that, like, I think it played music or something like that. They have a bunch of different things that you can do in this game that's much more interesting than the first game. Obviously, I love the Outer World one, and I'm not saying that this game is going to be completely better or anything, because it hasn't come out yet, but they definitely upgraded a lot of the stuff to make it more build based and things like that, and that's interesting for me. So yeah, that was basically all that they announced at the showcase. I think it was a fine showcase. I do think it was better than Summer Games Fest and the PlayStation event. They showed off a lot of good stuff here. For me, they showed a decent amount of stuff, and since Xbox is now moving some of the stuff that should have been third-party stuff in the first place, City and stuff like that, now it's moving on to PlayStation and stuff like that in other places. I can play it, so I'm excited for that, because I'm especially excited for the Outer Worlds. But now that it's $80, I'll have to wait to get it physically for PlayStation. Unfortunately, this seems like they're really trying to push digital-only gaming, and it's really hard to enjoy games when you have to pay like $80 for a digital game. Yeah, that's it, and that will be all for this video. Tell me which games that you were interested in, and did you like what you've seen at the Xbox event. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!